Howdy, my name is Gracie Schmidt, and this is my KNFB 222 final assessment video.
Field-based experience takeaways. With my field experience, I learned that as an educator, you will always have a diverse group of students or athletes with varying levels of experience and skill. This class has given me the tools to accommodate any scenario I might come across. During one of the events where I volunteered, I ran a station where I had to change up what I was doing each time I got a new group of kids. Doing this, I found that I really enjoyed coming up with different drills for different groups. I also learned that all kids learn differently. Some might understand something I tell them just by hearing it out loud, while others need to see it written down or have an example worked out for them. In the tutoring I did, I found that one of my students, Brady, learned the different math techniques best by watching me work out a problem and demonstrate how to apply the technique. His brother, on the other hand, could listen to me explain the technique and then slowly work his way through a problem. Most students will learn in different ways. Another thing that I learned was how much kids feed off of your energy. If your attitude is happy and excited and glad to be there, their attitude will reflect this. The way that you carry yourself and portray your attitude in the classroom can significantly impact how they approach learning. Class discussions and activities. The various diversity topics that we covered in class, such as socioeconomic differences, race, gender, and sexual orientation, have significantly broadened my view outside of the life that I've always lived. After taking this class, I know that I need to become more well-rounded and experienced as someone who will most likely be in a position where I'll experience many different cultures and backgrounds. My group presented about LGBTQ plus in schools and how we can make these individuals feel safe and welcoming in the classroom. Something else we talked about in this class that I found really helpful was ELL. This is an especially important topic living and working in Texas. These students deserve to have a quality education just as English speakers, and we talked about several ways that we as educators can make sure that that happens. We learned that communication amongst core subject teachers and their specific ELL teachers is vital. Teamwork amongst educators will make sure that students are able to take what they learn in their English learners class and be able to apply it to their core classes and learn their core subject material simultaneously. One topic I found particularly interesting was when we talked about special education in schools for one of the current events. Something I found really interesting was how social inclusion is something that everyone can benefit from and should really happen a lot more. I think, especially as a coach, I would put an emphasis on making sure that individuals with disabilities are happily included and involved with sports and PE.
I will now be sharing with you some of my personal strengths. My first personal strength is that I'm very comfortable talking in front of people, and I can find a friend in any room. I feel like this will be important for creating bonds and relationships with my students.
Another one of my strengths is that I work well under pressure, especially on a team. As an athlete myself, I've had to perform under large amounts of stress and make sure that I still get the job done. This will be helpful for deadlines or big tests such as the STAR. If I have something to be done, I will make sure it's done and done well before it's needed. My last strength that I'll share with you is that I'm a natural leader. In group situations, I tend to take a role of guidance and leadership and make sure that everyone feels comfortable, included, and educated. I believe that this goes off of my personable character trait. However, I have no problem with sitting back and being led by others. My natural draw is to guide and lead others, and I believe that this is very important for my future career, especially when it comes to coaching young athletes. Personal weaknesses. My first personal weakness is that I get overwhelmed when I have many tasks or projects due around the same time. My strategy for overcoming this weakness is to write out each task that I have and when it's due to make sure that I can visually see everything I need to accomplish in the near future. Using this list, I've learned that when I prioritize tasks based on how long they'll take me and the soonest due date, my stress eases and I'm able to get everything done on time. I just have to break everything down and organize before I can move forward. Like I said before, I strive under pressure. If I feel overwhelmed or stressed, I will figure out what to do in order to relieve that stress, such as add structure or organization, and get the job done. My second personal weakness is that I'm very comfortable with coaching, but I don't have near enough experience or knowledge about being in the classroom. To overcome this, I will start focusing not just on coaching and chatting with coach, but I will make sure that I also get in the classroom to learn tips and tricks for making lesson plans and running a classroom full of students. I'm confident that with more teaching classes and classroom-based shadowing, I will be able to develop skills to make me feel more confident with being in the classroom.
My last personal weakness is that I don't feel well-rounded or fully immersed into the different kind of lifestyles that students can live. I feel like the school district that I grew up in gave me a sheltered and unrealistic view of what schools really look like. I like to have a broader view and understanding of how students live outside of how I did when I was in school.
To accomplish this, I want to shadow different coaches and educators in different areas and districts. I want to be immersed into different settings and really have a feel for what students might be going through so that I can be well equipped to tailor to their education. Classroom strategies.
I've learned many different implications and strategies that I can use in my classroom to make sure all of my students feel safe and comfortable. One of these is to allow for both group and individual work. Classrooms and work settings tend to be tailored to better accommodate the educational needs of extroverts and leaving shy or introverted students to feel uncomfortable. While group work is great and encourages collaboration among peers, I want all of my students to feel comfortable doing what they need to do to succeed academically.
Another thing I will make sure to do is to know all of my students' names and how to pronounce them properly. I always took having a teacher who knew my name for granted. As both a coach and a teacher, I will do my very best to learn and remember all of my students' names. I want each of them to feel like I genuinely want to be there teaching or coaching them. I have such a passion for teaching and coaching, and I never want my students to feel as if I don't want to be there or that I don't care enough to pour everything I have into them and their education.